परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द 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 परमशिवोऽहम् I welcome you all. I welcome you all with my love and respect. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. I welcome you all with my love and respects. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham.
adobe, all of them are spearheaded by Hindus. And the reason is because the very ideas or the core concept with which each and every Hindu lives by nature contributes to the society. This Kumbh Mela, the supreme pontiff of Hinduism, by taking it globally, is reviving this Hindu identity. This is the world's largest and most ancient celebration in Bharat, in Prayagraj. 400 million Hindus are celebrating. It is literally a floating population, and that Prayagraj is actually the nerve center of the entire Kumbh Mela. And since 2006, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has brought this global Kumbh Mela to the entire world. Right from 2006 all the way to 2025, we have temples, thousands of temples from over 100 plus countries celebrating and participating in the global Kumbh Mela. Looking a little into the origins of Kumbh Mela, the Kumbh Mela actually dates back to 11,000 BCE. In 11,200 BCE, Paramashiva, who is the primordial divinity of Hinduism, established the world's oldest, most ancient governing bodies of Hinduism, and they are the Akhadas. Paramashiva's own descendant, Mahaganapati, is the first to be coronated as the head of this government or this democracy that was established by Paramashiva himself. Then came 200 years later, about two centuries later, came the Mahanirvani Akhada, where Paramashiva appointed Kapila Maharishi as the head. And it was Kapila Maharishi who actually established the tradition of Kumbh Mela. And Kumbh Mela is the world's most ancient tradition. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, is the 1008th Mahamandaleshwar of the Mahanirvani Akhada, the very same tradition that Kapila Maharishi hails from. And hence, Swamiji has been actively spearheading the celebration of the global Kumbh Mela all over the world. I'd now like to take a few moments to share with every one of you about Kailasa, how Kailasa has been established, what the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has done for each and every one of us around the world. The United States of Kailasa is the first nation for Hindus, and it has been established to preserve, protect the ancient, enlightened Sanatana Hindu civilizational nation. Kailasa is actually very similar to Vatican. Unlike other nations, Kailasa has been established to govern the 2 billion Hindus around the world. And Kailasa serves as the central administrative body for all these 2 billion Hindus around the world. Kailasa has also established various levels of diplomatic engagements and has also received various levels of recognition from various countries as well. Here we are looking at one of the recognitions that Kailasa received from the State of African Diaspora, and we had established the diplomatic relations with them back in 2022. Speaking about the territorial aspects, Kailasa has its own sovereign territory, multiple sovereign territories, autonomous territories that Kailasa has acquired, and Kailasa has also established the United Ancient Nations. This is a profound intergovernmental body, very similar to the United Nations, just like how the United Nations exists for the modern world countries right now. Similarly, the United Ancient Nations exists for the ancient indigenous First Nations and kingdoms that exist. And the fundamental aim for the United Ancient Nations, the intergovernmental body, is to protect the rights of these communities, is to promote peaceful coexistence, and to advocate for the sovereignty and the rights of the indigenous and the ancient, the First Nations that exist. Kailasa has a very clear governance structure and is founded on the fundamental principles of ahimsa and advaita, which is nonviolence and coexistence. We actively work towards preserving these ancient traditions, promoting religious freedom, and fostering cultural heritage. And despite the persecution that Kailasa and the Hindus around the world have gone through, Kailasa actively represents its voice in various global platforms, making sure that the entire world is made aware of the Hindus' Holocaust and the Hindu rights are protected continuously. Till date, the United Nations has published over 22 reports about Kailasa, affirming the juridical statehood and the sovereignty of Kailasa, as well as the persecution on Kailasa, Hindus, and the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Let us now look at some of the strengths of the Hindu businessmen. As mentioned earlier, Hindus are one of the richest ethnic communities around the world, and top CEOs from around the world are various Hindus in various countries. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, who is the head of state of Kailasa, the sovereign of Kailasa, is the one who has revived and established Kailasa. Due to his untiring efforts and work, today Kailasa stands as a homeland, as a sovereign land for all the Hindus around the world. Taking a look into the historical background, Kailasa is a consortium of 21 ancient kingdoms. Here, we are looking at the kingdom of Madurai, of which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the 293rd emperor or the pontiff. Next, we have the kingdom of Surangi, of which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is the 203rd emperor of the kingdom. Similarly, we have the kingdom of Surangi, kingdom of Swargapuram, and 18 other such kingdoms of which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been coronated as the king. And all of these kingdoms put together have been established as the United States of Kailasa. At one point in time, Hindus had over 56 nations. The Hindu civilization spanned over 56 nations with 200 kingdoms and 10,000 traditions. But due to the persecution and the Holocaust, over 400 million Hindus were massacred, 95 million Hindus were tortured, and 3.7 million Hindus who were forced to convert to other religions. And all of this is statistically documented in various historical records. Centuries of colonial oppression and exploitation of land led to the loss of all of these sovereign kingdoms that existed at one point in time. Today, Kailasa stands as the only nation with sovereignty for the Hindus around the world. In 2003, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism established Kailasa government in exile in North America. And since then, Kailasa has been running as the government in exile. And then Kailasa has been functioning as a full-fledged government in the world with its own defined sovereign territory. And the United Nations recognizes Kailasa's sovereign status and privileges, and it is very much described and outlined in the very constitution of the United Nations Convention on Diplomatic and Consular Relations as per Article 47.1. Till date, Kailasa has over 16,000 plus de facto spiritual embassies around the world, and 50 plus cities around the world have declared the 3rd of January as Kailasa's SPH Nityananda Day in recognition to the contributions of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to the entire world. Kailasa is not a competition to any nation, Kailasa is a complement to every nation. We actively work towards fostering peace and harmony around the entire world. Towards this, Kailasa has established various levels of diplomatic relations and various levels of bilateral treaties and relations with the entire world. When we look at the sovereignty in the international world, in the international arena, sovereignty is actually more or less a commodity. Let's take the example of US. US is actually 25 states of the US were actually purchased by the United States as sovereign territory. Similarly, Kailasa has acquired multiple sovereign territories through which Kailasa has been established. Kailasa also has its own reserve bank, which is very similar to the Vatican Bank, and it is a affluent Hindu community, the Hindu diaspora, who actually contribute to Kailasa. Kailasa also provides e-citizenship, which is a very unique initiative by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, to reach out to the 2 billion Hindu diaspora around the world. It is through the e-citizenship that we provide services to the Hindus around the world. Kailasa also has over 100 plus humanitarian initiatives such as free food, free medical care, free education, and so on. Till date, we have served over 1.5 billion free meals to the entire world. So, this gets us to a brief presentation, brief introduction about Kailasa and the celebrations that we are having today. Today, we are all having the Makara Shankaranti celebration, which is the Pongal, and it is the celebration of harvest. Fundamentally, the Hindu tradition, the Hindu civilization, is a civilization of agriculture. In the pre Bronze Age era, there were 49 civilizations that existed. And it is only the Hindu civilization that exists today as not just alive, but thriving civilization. So, today, once again, I'd like to welcome all the guests who have joined along with us. I'd like to take a few moments to introduce every one of you who have joined us, the various statesmen and dignitaries. First, we have His Excellency Dr. Umaru Bundu Vyuri, who is the Minister Resident from the Northwest region and the Ambassador at Large from the Republic of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Honorable Bashiru Silike, who is a Member of Parliament and the Member of Pan African Parliament from the Republic of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Honorable Miriam Chikukwa, who is a Member of Parliament from the Republic of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have with us Dr. Reverend Usman Forna, who is the Secretary General of the Interreligious Council of Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have along with us Honorable Herbert Taboda Perez, who is the National Deputy from Bolivia. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Honorable Dr. Marcelo Ibanez, who is the President of the Guaramaran Bar Association of Beni from Bolivia. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have with us Mr. Jesus Chuji Vargas, who is the President of the Shaimi Indigenous Community from the Achuar Nation from the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have John Bosco Utitiaj Sere, who is the President, Kunkiana's Indigenous Community from the Shuar Nation from the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have with us Adan Marcelian Vargas Canas, who is the President of the Taraimiat Achuar Kamu indigenous community from the Guarani Nation of the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Augustin Senen Marian Unup, who is the president of the Yapapas indigenous community from the Shuar Nation from the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have Mr. Danny Coas, who is the vice president of Pueblo Montubio del Ecuador from the Montubio Nation from the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have with us Luis Antonio Flores Robles, who is the cantonal president of Pueblo Montubio del Ecuador from the Montubio Nation from the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you for joining us. We next have Silvestre Antic, who is the president of Cuscuta Indigenous Community Indigenous Nation from the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have Mr. Naveen Singh, who is the president of the Sanatana Dharma Mahasabha from Sant Nagar Hindu Mandir, Santa Grand from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Pandit Rajesh Biso, who is the founder and the spiritual head of the Carlson Field Hindu Mandir from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have with us Dr. Krishan Kumar Singh, who is the president of the Sikh Gurudwara from Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have Adesh Asmid Ali, and he is a Hindu businessman and the member of the Sikh Gurudwara community. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Bimal Shresthaji, who is the president of the Pashupatinath Foundation from California, USA. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have Dr. Eduardo Medina, who is a proprietor and legal advisor from the Republic of Paraguay. Thank you very much for joining us. We next have with us Bablu Singh Soniji, who is a Sikh business owner, committee member of the Sikh Gurudwara of the Gambia. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have with us the Honorable Mr. Marco Antonio Aranda Carrasco, who is the advisor and the Aranda Associates legal firm, business consultancy from Bolivia. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have with us Honorable Abogado Hector Rapizo Ramirez, who is the president of the Rapizo Abogados Asociados from Colombia. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have with us Mr. Sheku Sese, who is a lecturer from Freetown, Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we also have with us Cesar Constantes Nieto, who is the president of Our Fields Foundation from Porto Viejo, from Manabi, from the Republic of Ecuador. Thank you very much for joining us. Then we have Dr. Oscar Vallardart, who is a lawyer from the Republic of Peru. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have with us Mr. Ramiro Bartolome Escalante Cala, who is the mayor of San Pedro from Pando in Bolivia. Thank you very much for joining us. Next, we have Ms. Rocio Rockrock, who is the mayor of Santa Ana del Yecuma from Bolivia. Thank you very much for joining us. Once again, I'd like to invite and welcome with my heartfelt happiness the all various dignitaries who have joined us from around the world. There is still a long list of VIPs who have joined us. I'd like to once again welcome every one of you. In the interest of time, I have not been able to read every one of your names, but once again, I'd like to share and give my heartfelt gratitude for each and every one of you joining us today. Now, I'd like to take a few moments to share with each and every one of you a beautiful introduction about how Kailasa has been established internationally, globally.
Around 5,000 years ago, at the end of Mahabharat War, the ancient enlightened Hindu civilization consisted of 10,000 Hindu traditions, or sampradayas, that existed in 56 Hindu nations, 200 Hindu kingdoms, 1,700 Hindu provinces that covered more than 6 million kilometers square of Asia. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, SPH, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Paramashivam, is the reviver of Kailasa, this ancient enlightened Hindu civilizational nation. Kailasa is an unbroken cultural, religious, historical, civilizational, and sovereign continuation and revival of multiple of these historical Hindu sovereign states and Hindu ecclesiastical entities. The unbroken continuity of these ancient Hindu nations through Kailasa results in the legal recognition of Kailasa as per the international customary law, particularly the doctrine of continuity. The international law, the doctrine of continuity, implies that upheavals and revolutions within a country, changes in government, territorial adjustments, measures taken during military occupation, or other internal transformations do not negate the existence of the country, do not affect the legal personality and international obligations of the country or state. The Vienna Convention on Succession of States in respect of treaties, 1978, addresses these principles of the doctrine of continuity as it outlines international law during situation of state succession or continuation. International law recognizes a state's legal personality by recognizing its identity. This perspective extends even during the period when the given state or country is annexed or occupied by a foreign power. Even
I welcome you all with my love and respects. Let you all open all your three eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nityananda Paramashivoham. परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द 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 परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम् परमशिवोऽहम् ॐ नित्यानन्द परमशिवोऽहम्